Greetings, church. I hope that you all had a very meaningful Thanksgiving this crazy year. I'm thinking about NASCAR this morning, specifically about pit stops. I read this morning about how crucial pit stops are to the success in a race. Any given car is going to be going for hundreds of miles at high speeds for long periods of time, and so it inevitably is going to need new tires. It's going to need its 18-gallon tank to be refilled. It's going to need some parts are likely to get bent or broken that are going to need to be repaired in order for it to stay in the race. And so as a result, a car is going to make on average between 4 and 12 pit stops during a race, depending on how long the race is. And when they make these stops, there's a whole crew waiting for them with new tires, gas, all the things that they're going to need to get them back in the race as soon as possible. Listen, the pit stop is not the main thing that a race car does. That would be ridiculous, right? But the pit stop is essential to the main thing that a race car does, which is race. These are strange times indeed. COVID-19. What in the world is God trying to do through all this? My oldest son the other day said, when is coronavirus going to be over? Right? You felt that way? I certainly have. This past Sunday, we made the point that when we're going through hard times, we should not ask the question, why me? Instead, we should ask the question, what is God trying to teach me? Or what could God be trying to teach me through this? And so I was thinking about that question this morning, specifically with regard to COVID and how it's affected our lives. And I wondered, what could God be trying to teach me, and what could God be trying to teach the church, not just Rock Lane, but Christians all over the world through this time? And of course, there's so many answers to that question. Next year, we're going to do a whole sermon series about lessons that we've learned from COVID. But there was one that struck me this morning as particularly convicting, personally convicting to me, and I want to share it with you. I believe that God is teaching the church and myself that Sunday morning service is a pit stop, not the race. What I mean to say is, Sunday morning service is not the main thing that a Christian is supposed to do. Running the race is the main thing that a Christian is supposed to do. Hebrews 12:1 says this to every Christian. Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, talking about Christians who've gone before us, let us also lay aside every weight and sin which clings so closely, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us. I believe that many Christians, myself included, at times have come to see Sunday morning service as the main responsibility of a Christian. We got to be in church. Can you imagine how silly it would be if NASCAR was all about the pit stops instead of the race? Cars would stop racing altogether, and they would just cruise from one pit stop to the next. Could it be that some Christians operate this way? That some Christians have stopped running the race or just cruising from one pit stop to the next because they've come to believe that the pit stops are the main thing? It's also interesting that the reason a race car needs a pit stop is because it's running the race so hard. Its tires are near evisceration. Its tank is running on E, a problem that I'm all too familiar with. And there are parts that need immediate attention because of the constant and hard work the car has been doing. Is that why you go to church? Because you have worn yourself out running the race? Your tank is on E? Your tires need to be replaced? Your spiritual body needs rest? Maybe there's some dents, some broken parts, some sins and doubts that need to be confronted and shared. Do you feel the need for Sunday because you're running the race so hard? It's also interesting to note that the purpose of the pit stop is to get the car back in the race. I read this morning that a good pit crew can get a brand new set of tires on a car in 2 seconds flat. That's amazing to me. They work hard and they work fast because the goal is to win the race. We got to get the car back in the race. The purpose of a restaurant is to feed you food that you like so that you don't have to cook. But the purpose of a pit stop is to get you what you need right away so that you can keep on racing. I love Sunday morning services. It's essential. Without the pit stop, we can't continue the race. We need the fellowship. We need to sing praises together. And most important of all, we need to participate in communion together. But I fear that I have made Sunday morning services into an idol. I fear that I have made, and maybe some others have made, Sunday morning service the focus. We've become to focus so much on the pit stop that we've forgotten the race. So let's you and me run this race as hard as we can this week so that we're close to breaking down if we don't get a pit stop come Sunday. I love you, church.